An expanse before me. Gazing up, I can't see the end of this path, but I begin my journey. I try to run, but I'm quickly stopped by trees in my path. My first rejection. Never mind though, I pick myself up, brush away the dust, ready to try again. But each time I'm knocked back. Several similar attempts make me realize the key is to walk slower, not run. Carefully tread along your own path forged by your own decisions. Obviously, this takes much longer, especially when new obstacles send you looking for another route. This journey seems to be costing me. It costs in time, and it certainly takes a toll on your mental health. But I suppose people don't realize how much it cost me to go on this journey. How in some ways, I've paid to have those branches block my path. Not only a pain I chose, but I actually paid for. Alas, it would be worth it, for that is the cost of acting. Hello. Welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Emma. I'm an actor and I make all sorts of random videos on YouTube about acting or little short film type things, written pieces, monologues, all things like that. So if that sounds like it's up your street, please feel free to subscribe. I already tried to film this video outside earlier, but it was so windy and my camera kept cutting out because the battery was too low. And I then watched the footage back and realized I basically have a comb over for the entire thing anyway. And I was like, you know what? Let's just get comfy and film it in my bedroom. So that's what we're doing. As you can tell, I'm gonna be talking about the cost of acting, and I'm not talking about how much it costs on your mental health or the amount of time it takes up. I'm literally talking about physical money, how much you have to spend in order to start an acting career. And I want to preface this by saying this is not me complaining. I know lots of careers have access issues. For example, certain careers you might have to go to study a specific degree, and obviously not everyone can afford to go to university. Yeah, it's not a complaint, it's just this is the facts of wanting to start an acting career. And I think it's interesting because obviously there are issues in the industry where not everyone can afford to get involved, you know, and that's not very equal. So I just thought it would be interesting to kind of highlight this and be transparent about it. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about generally what things people might pay for, and then be specific about what exactly I have spent so we can see the amount of money I've spent. And honestly, working it out, I was like, okay, that's kind of upsetting, but it's fine. We do what we want to do for our dreams, so let's just hop in. First of all, the basics. The most important thing you need from the get-go, one of the earliest things you should look at getting sorted, is headshots. And a headshot, for those of you who don't know, is literally a photo of your face, usually like this much, maybe from your shoulders. And it's kind of supposed to like be the first thing that agents or casting directors see so they can get an idea of who you are, what you look like. Headshots really vary in price. The first headshots I ever got were £100. I've never seen any as cheap as that other than those ones, but they can go up to $450. They can go more than that depending on the types of package deals you want to include when you book your headshots. It really depends what company you go with, but yeah, I would recommend 100% getting professional headshots, because even if your friends are good photographers, they don't necessarily know what an acting headshot needs to include. And also, when you go with certain companies, like acting, like the people who actually do acting headshots, they post your headshots on their Instagram page, and they've got loads of like casting directors and agents and things following them. So it's like actually a good networking opportunity as well. There are companies like Actor, who I just booked my next headshots with, who offer a pay what you can initiative. So for those of you who are not as financially abundant, including me, because I use this initiative, you can still get your headshots done. And I think that's really important because it's providing more opportunity from people who come from less privileged backgrounds to actually have a chance at starting their career. The next thing in the basics is a show reel. So someone like me who literally makes YouTube videos and loves editing videos, I don't really have to worry about this because I get sent the footage and then I can just clip it together how I want to do it. But not everybody knows how to edit videos, or not everybody feels comfortable doing it, and you might not actually have enough footage to make a show reel to begin with. And there are companies that either chop together your footage for you or will write you scenes, and then you can act them out and they'll direct and edit and do the whole thing for you, and then that costs obviously more. So that's looking at like 150 to 780 pounds. Those are the kind of things I was looking at on Google. It really depends what you need from it, but I would probably recommend learning how to use like a simple editing software that's free, just so you can save a bit of money there, because that is expensive. The next important thing that you have to pay for is memberships. So a lot of the memberships are for like casting websites so that you can actually look for work. The main one is Spotlight. That's the one that people want to be on. It's the one where most of the best casting directors and agents and stuff are on. It can be difficult at times to get on Spotlight, but they have made the entry requirements a bit more accessible for people who, again, couldn't afford to go to drama school or whatever, stuff like that. And that costs, depending on which membership you have from Google, 154 to 199 pounds, depending. I do know they offer discounts for like neurodivergency and possibly other things. Then there are other casting websites which you don't have to like have entry requirements for. You just pay the subscription fee and then you can look for jobs and stuff, which is really, really helpful. Like Mandy, Backstage, Star Now, just to name a few. I personally use Mandy. I've had the most jobs off Mandy. Backstage, I got close to one job, but then other than that, I've never really had any success with Backstage, so I stopped paying for that subscription because I was like, it's just, I don't need to spend that kind of money. Yeah, they can vary in price, but we'll call it an average of 100. It really depends on which one you're going for. Like some of them, I think Backstage is a bit more expensive, Mandy is a bit cheaper. Again, it's all a rough ballpark. This is just so you can see how quickly all of this adds up. The final membership that I think is important is for Equity. Equity is basically like the actors union, and you just basically, if anything went wrong or something went wrong with a contract or something and you needed to like get help or make a claim, then you go through Equity. But you obviously have to pay a membership fee to be part of Equity, and the cheapest membership is £168. So the next category of things is classes/training. We'll start off with drama school. So I didn't go to drama school personally. One of the main reasons actually was because I couldn't afford it. But if you do drama school as a bachelor's and you don't do anything else at uni and that's what you choose to study, then it will just be the regular university fees, like £9,250 a year. God, it is so crazy. And then if you decide to do a master's because you've already done a degree in something else and you want to go and do a master's, like a short 1 year at drama school, then that's probably around £18,000. So that is a huge chunk of money. So the alternative is obviously going to acting classes, and I've spoken about this a lot on my channel because I love going to acting classes, but I don't go all the time because I have to kind of like save up for like a chunk, and then I can like book a few in and then I have to save up again. So classes usually are like between £30 and £40 per class. So it depends what kind of courses you're looking at, how long you want to do them for. If it's like an intensive weekend, that might be like £200 just for 2 days of intensive togetherness or like whatever. So it all varies, but you're looking at minimum for one acting class around £30. And then the last section is equipment. So obviously, one of the things that you do a lot as an actor is film self-tapes. You don't need a fancy camera to do it. You do need a decent enough phone that would store enough memory for you to make consistent self-tapes, and also the camera quality be good enough that you can see yourself. Things that are really, really useful that people always recommend to get is a ring light, which I'm actually using right now. And they start at like 20 quid, but you can obviously go up and get more expensive lighting. You can get a backdrop. I have like a pop-up one, but people sometimes get like roll down ones, whatever, there's different ones. They're actually quite pricey. The cheapest one that I found is £60. So it's quite a lot, but they do really help with tapes, having a plain background if you don't have a plain wall in your house. So those were all the things I thought of that were like what you need to kind of like make your first steps into an acting career. Well, give or take, like some of the things you don't need straight away, but eventually will. So as you can probably see already, like how many things already cost 100 or over 100, and you've got multiple things, you know, it adds up so quickly. And some of these things you have to pay for again and again, like you do need to get your headshots updated, or you do need to go to acting classes more than once, or whatever, like you have to refresh your subscriptions once a year, like everything kind of adds up. So I thought it would be interesting to break down my own costs, so people, I don't know if it's interesting what I've actually spent, say in 1 year of acting. And it's not exact because I've had different things at different points or whatever, but I'm just doing it as an example. So Headshots, the first time I got them done was £100. Then I did my show reel, which is nothing. Then Spotlight, I get a discount because I've got ADHD, so that is £91.80. Mandy cost me £76. Equity, £168. Acting classes, most recently, the classes that my favourite classes go to is £210. Either for a set of 6 classes or a 2-day intensive course. It kind of adds up as the same price. And I do have a National Youth Theatre membership, which costs me £35 a year. Obviously, I've got my ring light, which cost me 20 quid, and I have the backdrop that cost me 60 quid. So my lowest possible cost in a year is £760. So yeah, £760 is quite a big sum, and that's just minimum. Like, I've spent more than that, definitely, on other bits and bobs. Also, if I think about all of the travel that I've had to do to get up to auditions and blah, blah, blah. So obviously, split over a year, it might not seem like that much, but actually, when a lot of these things come out in one chunk, which they often do, like subscriptions and things like that come out once a year, and they, I feel like, often end up coming around at a similar time, it really adds up. Depends what you're doing in your spare time, because the thing is, the more you work a job, the less time you've got to put into your acting career, going to training and finding the jobs and all of that. So it's a real balancing act, and it's not easy, but obviously lots of us are doing it, so it can't be awful. So yeah, like, it is what it is. Obviously, for some of you might not think that's a crazy amount of money. Some of you might think that's loads of money. I just think, well, that's the amount of money it costs to make my dreams come true. So yeah, that's basically all I had to say on that. I hope it was kind of interesting, or at least a bit eye-opening for people who don't know much about the industry or are looking at getting into acting or anything like that. Just nice to kind of know these things, because I definitely didn't. And don't let it put you off, but just be aware that you have to be sensible with your finances at times, as probably anyone does. That's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please make sure you give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, if you've got any other video suggestions or monologue suggestions or anything like that that you'd like to see from me, let me know, because it's been really nice having some video requests recently, and I don't know, it just feels nice. It feels like, you know, you guys are supporting me, suggesting things, and it's nice to do things that I know someone, at least one person, will find interesting. So yeah, feel free to comment anything like that down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!